Okay, guys, not a revolution. It's more like we have our own little village hidden from the world. You got to go down a back road, cross a fence, walk through the roads, find the clearing, and you're going to find people that actually read their comics that are on YouTube and stuff, right? So basically, the last couple streams have been really amazing. I've been getting some really good feedback. It doesn't matter if the views are small, it's the action. And I've had some books thrown at me to check out through Twitter and through the comments and some other stuff like that. And then I've had some real complimentary feedback. And it's cool to see comics, man. So we're still here. People who read comics are still here. All right. You just got to find the village and stay true to it and stuff. Right. And some of the questions I was asking, been asked, was sort of like, what book would I recommend that's monthly and things like that. So I figure let's just take a few minutes and hey, Cayman X, how are you doing? All right. So, so I figured I would just say, hey, what book read now? There's a lot going on out here on YouTube and Twitter and things like that. And sometimes you just got to bring it home. And it's amazing that I'm going to be talking about comics today. Yeah, yeah. I've only got like maybe 45 minutes or half an hour here. But basically, whenever I usually do live streams on Sundays, it always seems to be raining. And I always associate reading comics to being a kid. And you can't go outside because it's raining. So you end up getting a big stack of comics and you pile up on the bed or you pile up on the end of the couch and you just read while it rains. Well, we got Hurricane Florence coming up through here. So that's why the lighting's so bad and stuff. It's going to be hitting. Hey, greetings. Right back at you, Matthew. Awesome, man. So there's some people here. So what am I reading, man? Well, that's what happened. I sort of disappeared there for a little bit, and I was actually reading my books. So I figured I'll just slow down to show you a few things I'm reading and where I'm at on it. Oh yeah. We're good. I'm getting asked to. I guess you're asking about it. Speaking of, I hear we are going to get a lot of rain. That's Scott Connor, and the lights just flickered. Amazing. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thanks. From what I understand, in our area, we're going to get hit with some thunderstorms and stuff like that. But it seems like an hour in every direction is where power is going out or flooding or stuff. I'm way up on a mountain, so hopefully that'll help. So thanks for this concern, guys. Yeah, you too, Clone Trooper. Okay, thanks, guys. And I hope everybody out there stays safe if you're watching this and you're going to get hit. Okay. So basically, one of the things that I'm finally getting through, I'm just off work. That's all there is to it. I've just got off work. So basically, one of the things I'm finally getting through is I'm trudging along the 300 issues of Cerebus. Single issues. As I said in my last live stream, here are a lot of my phone book trades. Up here are single issues. I'm getting through it. I've read them sporadically off and on since the 90s. A couple years ago, I said it's time to get through this. I actually met Gerhard at Heroes Con, and he gave me a sticker for reading all 300 issues and signed some stuff and everything. But I backed up. I've read all the chapters of Mothers and Daughters, but the first one was Flight. This is book 7 out of all these phone books and stuff, right? And I've always sort of recommended people to, quit at 150 or 200 with Cerebus and stuff. And I think I may be wrong. I'll keep you up to date on it. But when you read the thing as a whole, when you go from beginning to end so far with where I'm at and reading complete sections of the stories and stuff, I might have been wrong. The tones change, the pacing changed, the styles of storytelling changes. Some stuff's hard to get through. Some stuff flies. Some stuff's very cool. Some stuff calls back. But the whole point of the whole thing is that I really am beginning to believe that Dave Sim wrote a 300 issue story, even though we're reading it in chapters and things like that. It's the life story of one comic book character that's going to end with his death. And in life, we play many roles on that stage. Sometimes we're the center of attention. Sometimes we're off to the side while life happens. And sometimes we're in the background. And that's the whole point. And the lights keep flickering. All right. Where we got here? Cerebus gets more and more complex as it goes on. Yes, Jesus, it does. That's what I'm finding out. I knew it was a complex, sophisticated story, but I didn't realize how much. It does get more intricate as it goes along. Rain's coming down upon my dorm, but it's not stopping me from reading Swamp Thing. Let's be real, Matthew. Is that not the perfect weather to read Swamp Thing in? Do you not smell the mud outside? You know, it adds to the atmosphere. How you liking it here? It gets pretty weird at the end. I've liked it so far. I can honestly say that I'm up to speed with the first 200 issues. Okay, all the way up to Guys. Okay, and I've read a few issues here of Guys. So so far so good. Hey, Prowler, what's going on? Hope it's not going to be perfect weather for Aquaman. Well, you know, Aquaman's got to make a living too, Scott. All right. Second thing I'm working on, I'm on my last trade. There are 6 of these, 6 hardbacks, 6, you know, miniseries, whatever. And I highly recommend people pick these up and get through the first one so you can get to the other issues. Talked about it before. I'm reading the last one. It's number 4. Volume 4. Yes, I've read them out of order because that's how I bought them and stuff like that. But Lock and Key, right now I'm making my way through probably about 20 pages into Keys to the Kingdom, the 4th one. Amazing story. Joe Hill's the son of Stephen King. His mother's also a writer, and apparently it trickled on down. I highly recommend this, man. This is like real kids and a messed up situation with an antagonist that you're just sort of like, how are they going to beat him? Because everybody's clueless. You know what I mean? About they don't even really know there's an antagonist yet. Magic keys, kids that you can feel for, suicide, death, alcoholic mother. This thing will just rip you apart, man. It feels very grounded in the real world at times with messed up stuff happening to kids. And there's many, many keys in here that do many, many things with their own history. But the part of it is, though, is that it's only children that can really see the magic, because as adults, we lose that part of us. Matthew Raska, my teacher in English, looks like Anton Arcane. That is actually cool. I would really like to be surrounded by people who look like characters from literature and stuff like that. All right. I cannot smell the mud, but I can smell the lilies in school greenhouse and plants. Yeah. It works. You're reading Swamp Thing and you're smelling nature there. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so I highly recommend the Lock and Key series. All right, I have them all in hardback now. I'm glad I finally got to. Actually, this book actually haunted me a little bit. I had to finish it. I'm reading The First Kingdom by Jack Katz. Never read that. I have never read The First Kingdom, and I'm ashamed to say that I don't think I've really heard of it until the last couple months. So I hope that's a really good reading there, Cayman. All right, the third thing that I'm working through is this trade. Phone call. Hold on, guys. Hello. Hey, did you get off work? Okay, I'm doing a live stream real quick, and then I'll start dinner. Sound good? Okay, love you. Bye-bye. Okay, so sorry about that, guys. It's one of the very first books considered as a graphic novel. See, I go Will Eisner, Contract with God, and things like that. So how First Kingdom got by me, you know. So anyway, I've been getting through this here. This is Death Lives. These are the collected stories of Judge Death. This thing is fantastic. It has Brian Boland work in it, going back to 1980. That is as fresh as it is now. I had to get this. I got this through eBay. When I got it through eBay, the person had wound it up. I did this, put it in an envelope, you know, a vanilla envelope. And when it was just all folded up in my P.O. box. And the stuff that's in this, it's in black and white. It's in color. It's from 2000 AD. It's just a lot of stuff over the years. Just amazing stuff, man. I found this absolutely fascinating, and I get it. I get why Judge Death is a thing. Over the years, I've become more and more of a fan of Judge Dredd, and I get it. You know, I mean, I totally get it, man. Judge Dredd is an entity all of his own, and I love the movie Dredd. I can't stand the movie from the 60s with Stallone, Judge Dredd, and the fact that we don't have a sequel to Dredd is a freaking crime against nature. That's right, Scott Connor Grockett. That's right. So I've been hearing rumblings that, was it Tom Hardy that played him in the movie? That doesn't sound right. But anyway, I've heard rumblings that for a while now that they're going to make a Dredd TV show. And the dude that played Dredd in the movie, I want to say that's Tom Hardy, but that does not sound right. He's willing to come into the TV show if they have it, right? So this is fantastic stuff. Great stuff, right? Okay, so now we're getting like into older comics and stuff, right? Older comics, right? And one of the things that I would highly recommend to people, Mega City One, Carl Urban. That's it. Thanks, Scott Connor. Carl Urban. I think I saw Tom Hardy in some movie trailer the other day, and I think that's why his name stuck in my head. Carl Urban is he is dread. He got it. But if you're old school, right, or if you're into the old school comics and stuff like that, if you go back to the Claremont Byrne Teen Titans, the Claremont Byrne X-Men. If you get into the Paul Smith X-Men, if you get into the Dave Cockrum X-Men, if you get into Marv Wolfman and George Perez's run on the New Teen Titans around that time and stuff like that, a book that was a really, I come to find out, was actually a really strong seller and get a lot of acclaim that it should. He's going to cameo, so Dredd is not the main character. Ah, interesting. Not here. Interesting. Okay. But there's a run of Legion of Superheroes books from the early 80s with Keith Giffen and Paul Levitz. And I put it right up there with the Teen Titans and X-Men stuff. I know that's a bold statement. But I think it's like from 294 to maybe like 320. And I jumped on board with some of those issues, but I'm going back and I'm reading some Legion books, right? Going all the way back to the Great Darkness saga, where the Teen Titan, where the Legion of Superheroes really sort of got nuts, in my opinion, right? With what Giffen and Levitz were doing. The covers are kind of what kills them. This is going back to a issue of Adventure number 300, I think. But when you get in here, you're on a post-apocalyptic world of Durlan, where a Cosmic Boy is trying to get his powers back. And it's like Mad Max turned up on sci-fi all the way with shape-shifting monsters. They're like a cult. There was like a 6-minute war that just completely devastated them. Yeah, Solid Forward Legion. That's right. And the things they were doing as this book continued, man, they had a huge amount of Legionnaires, and they were able to have like a Supergirl Brainiac story with some other Legionnaires, Shrinking Violet, and maybe Cosmic Boy going after with the Emerald Empress coming after him. Issue 298, they brought in some Green Lantern stuff, letting you know what was going on in the future. They had Colossal Boy dating Shrinking Violet, and she was supposed to have been dating a guy named Duplicate Boy, who was like one of the most powerful. It's a silly name, sure, but he's like one of the most powerful heroes out there. And they end up, growing, to like 5,000 feet or something, and they're fighting amongst the mountains over a girl and stuff like that. Here we go. Con South. The Great Darkness Saga is as good as the Dark Phoenix Saga. I put them up. That's subjective, man. That is a bold statement. And I really have to say that. That took my breath when I read that. The Great Darkness Saga, I could do a whole video talking about that. That could be a really good video. The Great Darkness Saga going after being as good as the Dark Phoenix Saga. The trick here is that the Dark Phoenix Saga had the Shi'ar Royal. Oh, I can't think what they're called, the Shi'ar Royal something or other. But there was these, the Shi'ar had a team of aliens, and the in joke was that they were the Legion of Superheroes in Marvel, because Dave Cockrum had worked in the Legion and then jumped over to the X-Men. So when you see the Shi'ar Guard or whatever they're called and stuff like that in the Dark Phoenix Saga, and they popped up way before that too, it's the Legion of Superheroes. You can match them up. Fatal Five, one of the best villain teams. Absolutely. Very underrated. Years ago, they had the Legion of Superheroes cartoon on Saturday mornings. I think this is like 2006, 2007, somewhere around in there. And there was characters animated I just never thought I would see. It was fantastic. And I'm pretty sure I remember the Persuader. I can't remember if all the Fatal Five was there, but it was just fantastic to see the Persuader. The Persuader is my favorite, man. This big tough guy with a gigantic axe wearing a freaking space hockey mask. You know what I mean? I mean, it was just fantastic. Oh, I agree with this statement, man. So the Great Darkness Saga and the Dark Phoenix Saga on par with each other. That is a video for the future, guys. That is fantastic. Well, God, you guys are jumping in here. And go check out Solid 4 String ST Ben's channel, man. All of them were awesome. Thank you. Yeah, the Fatal Five were all in that Legion Superheroes cartoon. I have not seen that cartoon since it went off the air. They ruined the second season with the clone Superboy. That's all I'm going to say. Timberwolf. I saw Timberwolf in freaking animated. I just never thought I would ever see that. Ultra Boy is my favorite Legionnaire. So going back and reading this stuff is just so good. I really would like to do another video on the Legion with some theories I have about them and stuff, right? Okay, guys, and another book I'm going back because I do have a collected edition of all of the appearances of this run, of this character during the Bronze Age and stuff. And solid 4-string. God, anyway, Shannon out there, solid 4-string Ben. If you look at him, you'll see, check out the chat. Go check out his channel, man. He's going to be right on par with this. Scott Connor is going to be right on par with this. Evening, Tim. Finally got my hands on a full run Starman Volume 2. John Jones, enjoy. Hang in there with that. It's a fun ride. Like I said, when I started out collecting it, it was on the stands. I gave up after issue 6. It thought that it was a bad book. I just thought it was really slow, and I messed up because that's when it takes off. The thing is just fantastic. Persuader X could cut gravity in the Silver Age. I'm telling you, man, the Persuader is a cool freaking character, man. I'm glad there's people out here that know that. I really enjoyed that CB and Shrinking Violet story, like Colossal Boy, and Shrinking Violet storyline. One of my favorites from that era. Absolutely. That's what I mean. It's like the unsung, missing classic runs of all time is Levette's and Giffen on during that time. What would you say is better, Frank Miller's Daredevil run or Chris Claremont's X-Men run? Also, know any good Martian Manhunter stories? Oh, man, the Martian Manhunter. Okay, so when it comes to Frank Miller's Daredevil run and Chris Claremont's X-Men run, I'm going to – I think the Chris Claremont X-Men run is better, but you got to understand the Frank Miller Daredevil story was more innovative. Okay, that's not me trying to get out of this question which one I could get. They are so so different. Daredevil is Frank Miller coming on there, and you can see he brought sex to comic books is the trick with Daredevil. How do superheroes have sex? And he brought out Elektra, and it had sexual tension in it, and it was street level. And you had Frank Miller walking around New York and stuff and actually drawing the nastiness that he saw. Probably right in Hell's Kitchen and stuff, right? So it's grounded more in reality. Then you get the X-Men title, man. You know, we get into the cosmic stuff and the Shi'ar Empire and the Gym and just all that stuff that was going on. So one is more fantastic and Star Wars, and the other one is more Taxi Driver. You follow what I'm saying? So I think they are the top notch of that era of what was going on right there with what I was saying. I would spend money to, you know, I had the Frank Miller Daredevil run, and I got to say, I go back to the X-Men run more. So by what I read and what I judge, I'm going to go with X-Men. That was a long answer for a short question, man. Okay. Now, as far as good Martian Manhunter stories, I got to say no. No, I don't know any good Martian Manhunter stories, and I'm sure they're out there. The Martian Manhunter 1 million was pretty good, if I can remember right. That was during the 90s where Grant Morrison had the DC 1 million crossover event going on, and every book got a 1 millionth issue. I remember liking that quite a bit, and I'm sure they're out there. You guys help this guy out. There's any big time Martian Manhunter fans. And what's bad is I know I'm going to remember something as soon as this is over. Thoughts on the Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning run? Oh yeah, the Abnett and Lanning region, the DNA books of Legion. I'm through the first 13 issues that they did. I think they're fantastic. I had some buddies of mine who watched the channel, and I talked to them and stuff. They sent me the Legion of Superheroes run. Legion Lost is fantastic. To me, the DNA Legion books were a freaking shot in the arm. It was like what punk rock was to rock and roll. It was heroin right in the arm to wake it up and kick it in the ass and get it going. Martian Manhunter Silver Age was good in a goof wild way. There we go. Martian Manhunter was good in the New Frontier. There it is. I will give it to Scott Connor there. Martian Manhunter in the New Frontier is good, even though it's not his story and stuff. That's probably one of the best portrayals of the character. I think he's awesome. All right, so the last books that I'm kind of getting through, like I go back and forth, and actually I forgot to show this. Here's the mini series that kind of went with the DNA Legion books, Legion Worlds. I'm getting through some of that. I'm trying to find the Legion Lost. I've had a chance to buy it twice and passed it up, but the DNA stuff, it's pretty good, fast paced, a little different. They kind of pulled it out of the Silver Age a little bit. If you like Bronze Age, Justice League of America 115 is a good story. Creatures jumped up here, man. I love Martian Manhunter. Lords of the Long Box. Wow, early Monday live stream. Something for me to watch while at work. Getting a little dark over there, Howler. Yeah, that's why I'm kind of getting through it. The lights are flickering. I'm watching that storm come through. Yep, for Martian Manhunter, that is awesome. Legion of Three Worlds. Thought George Perez's art was good. Legion of Three Worlds is one of my all-time top 10 stories. I absolutely love that miniseries. I'm definitely going to be doing some Legion. I'm going to be doing some Legion videos in the future. I mean, maybe just 2 or 3 there. Blucher, yeah, Blucher. I'm surprised there's not horses in the name and stuff, right? But the last series that I'm kind of getting through, and a lot of these I'm rereading. Like I said, I've got a trade that's got all of these. But I'm a huge Mike Ploog fan, right? Going all the way back. I was loving Mike Ploog work before I knew it was Mike Ploog, going all the way to Ralph Bakski's Wizards and stuff, right? Ploog worked on that. Werewolf by Night. And, of course, Monster of Frankenstein, that they changed the title there. I wish Jeff Johns had a long run on Legion. To a certain extent, I do too. But what Jeff Johns did with, really, when you put together the Legion work that he did in Action Comics, JSA when it crossed over to JLA. I mean, I can't believe it was over 10 years ago that like Legion of Three Worlds came out. But Johns came on there and he had a 3-part story that he told over like 5 years. And when you got the Legion of Three Worlds with Perez on there, bringing it all together, it was fantastic. So he definitely made an impact with what little work he did. Dan Abnett is probably the most consistently good writer working today. I got no problem with that, Cruder. No idea. No problem with that at all. The Superman Legion story in Action Comics by Johns and Gary Frank is in my top 10. Right there with you, Shannon. Right there with you, man. Yeah. So, yeah, I've got a really big run of the single issues here of the Monster of Frankenstein. Great series. Ploog was not on it. For very long, actually, longer than I wish he was there longer, is what I'm trying to say here. I started pulling in things with Dracula and more horror stuff. I remember as a kid, this is probably one of the first issues I read of this. I don't know if I've lost power or something, but it's getting close. That's why I want to wind this up. Plus, I got to make dinner before the power does go out. I bet this stream is messed up. I bet every time it's flickering, I'm losing some internet here. Okay. I read the J.M. DeMonte story series of Martian Manhunter, which delves into Martian Manhunter's history and origins, hoping to find something similar. Monster of Frankenstein, Ploog and Mayak. Yep. Hey, finally made it to one of these things. Dr. Silver Age is in the house. Go check out his channel as well, man. I wish Kurt Busiek worked on Legion. I loved Astro City. I'd be interested to see what Kurt did with it. I'm not really big on his work now, especially the last few years of Astro City, considering the quality of work he put out years ago and stuff. But yeah, I'd love to see 90s music jump on the Legion and get in there if he's a fan. Lords of the Long Box is here. Go check out his channel. It's still 720p. Yeah, I explained to one of my other live streams what's going on here with this. All right. Yeah. So this is something that will be fixed in the future. I'm just tired of having little roadblocks here. Astro City being developed into a TV show for one of the streaming sites. I'm interested. I'm there. If they do it, I am there. I was with Astro City from day one. I have my videos from about 4 years ago showing all my issues and talking about where I was there. I even had the promotional poster that the comic book shop had on the wall of it. Astro City, I knew was going to be good because, music after his Marvel's work and Thunderbolt's work and his he wasn't on Avengers yet. But a lot of the stuff Busiek did when I actually had Busiek's first miniseries before he was a big superstar, and that was The Red Tornado with Carmine Infantino. I mean, I had it, but, I thought it was pretty good. I was like, wow, somebody made something out of nothing, pretty much. Where should I start with the Legion? Oh, man, somebody help me out here. Where should you start with the Legion? You can get a trade paperback that came out in 2010, I think. It's called The Curse. And it reprints something like issue 297 of the first series that took over from Superboy to about issue 320. And that'll give you a taste, okay? Because I like the 80s Legion before they did all the reboots. There's a whole history with the Legion having 0 Hour reboot and DC 52 reboot and so on and so forth. I love the Silver Age Legion, okay? I wish the modern books would have a more Bronze Age feel. I wish the modern books would learn to have subplots, character development, and artists who study comics to do storytelling. So yeah, I'm with you. Hey, hi, Shannon. Doing fine, my friend. Okay. Yeah, Astro City was true world building. And Lords of Logbox, what a lot of people don't realize is Astro City takes place in real time. The characters age in real time. Marvels was excellent. Marvels was unbelievable. Unbelievable. Kurt Busiek really did a great job of even finding continuity in the 60s that nobody had really pointed out before. He found things going on in certain comics that would tie to other comics, and he put it all in there. Kurt Busiek interview, I would look up any interview about him talking about Marvels. It's well worth reading if you find any of them. Guys, we're going to probably be about 5 more minutes on here, man. I am losing it here. I have not read Kurt's recent stuff. Okay, Con South says get Paul Levitz's entire run. Do a little Google search on Paul Levitz's Legion. That's exactly where I think you should start. Then you can go backwards or forward. We need to see some more vids from you, Dr. Silver Age. Yes, we do. Music was also very good on Conan. Yeah, he went straight to the books, man. Yeah, when Dark Horse got Conan and Busiek jumped on there, it was Carrie Nord was doing amazing art on that as well. I might get a lot of, yep. I am starting to get a lot of flickering here, guys. Let's get through these questions and we'll go on. Tim, where did Astro City drop off for you? Probably in the 30s of the Vertigo series, somewhere in the 30s. That's when I was just struggling. And they went back and did a story back in the 20s and 30s or something during the Great Depression, or I don't know what was going on, man. But that's really where he started losing me. And a lot of the books before that were struggling. I was staying in. You had The Broken Man, if you've read the series, and I was hanging in there thinking there was going to be a payoff with The Broken Man, But I was struggling before that. The Crackerjack story brought me back in. You know what I mean? There was a Crackerjack story where he was getting older and we kind of got to see how big of a jerk he was and stuff. But yeah, that's where it was really, the 30s is where they lost me. When I found out the series was in it at 52, I just figured I'll just finish it off here. I start with the Silver Age, but I hear good things about the Second Legion reboot. I'm going to go with the Levitt stuff. I would get the Levitt stuff. I'd get a foundation. I started out with the Silver Age stuff and a little reprint Adventure Digest. And, there was issues running from the 70s with Cockrum art, Jim Starlin writing it, and he changed his name to Steve Apollo. There was a lot of things. I'm trying to think what it was. The Earth War, the 70s is where they've gotten a lot of mileage out for the Legion and stuff, even though nobody really knows about that story. I might be calling it wrong. Yeah. Got to go. Thanks for the string. Thanks, Murdoch. And guys, I got the lights flickering. I got dinner to make. It's getting darker, and I think we're about to hit a storm. So thanks for everybody popping in. I may pop on here again tonight, depending on the weather, but hit that bell below because I'm going to be doing more live streams here. Okay. Yeah, the Steve Apollo days. That's right. Yeah, that's where it was. And actually, my first comic I ever bought personally, I've shown it before, was a Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes. All right, later, guys. Thanks for everybody for popping in.